Good evening, campers, and welcome aboard the Starship Nightwish. I'm Commander Exorcist, and we got an update today on an incoming patch, surprise patch that is due out on the 28th. This is 18.06, and it is bringing some significant balance changes to the Thargoid War, so I thought that I'd do a quick video. We're going to go through the patch notes real quick. I'm going to hit some highlights. We're going to go over all of the notes that came out today, and we'll talk about a few that I think will be of interest to everyone. So let's go ahead and get to the meat of it. The Thargoid War is being rebalanced, and I want to say before we get started looking at this, a lot of these changes flat out designed to bring in more players to the combat action, and I think these are good overall. There's one or two I'm a little skeptical about, but overall, I think these are pretty good changes. The more players that we can get engaged with the Titans and with just general operations to end the war, the better, because that is the big activity going on right now. I know there's other things going on out there. There's other activities, but this is kind of the big one. And so these rebalances really show that Frontier has no intention of keeping this war going forever. And so there is an end game. And so with these rebalances, it incentivizes pilots to get out there and do more anti-Thargoid operations, more war-focused operations across the spectrum, not just ship-to-ship combat. There's a lot of different things in here that have been changed that we're going to take a look at. So, first thing we're going to talk about is war contribution. They have rebalanced everything. Anything you do related to the war is going to make more money. So, call combat actions, hunting Orthrus in alert systems, but we'll talk about that in a minute because that got a little bit of a nerf. Spire sabotage missions, there's some specific stuff we're going to talk about. All the mission types and all rescue operations, everything has been boosted. So if you want to make some money, this is where to be. They've upgraded the combat bonds for everything. So all of the Thargoid ships, their combat bonds have been raised except for the Orthrus. If you look down there, it's dropped from 40 million to 15. And, excuse me, it's kind of a mixed bag. There's a little bit of a mixed reaction to it. I can see why they did it because it's one of the easier ships to take out. And it really has just become a farm item. People farm it constantly for credits. It makes more sense in the context of what a challenge it is, the difficulty involved with the Orthrus. But it has been dropped from 40 million to 15 million. And so far, from what I can tell in the patch notes, that's the only thing that has been dropped. Everything else has been boosted. Previously, system difficulty became exponentially higher the closer a system is to a Titan. So systems very close to the Titan could be extremely challenging to take. It also made it very difficult for Titans to be weakened, and for pilots to take those last systems. This change aims to ensure that systems remain the difficulty remains consistent, and additionally, all systems can be contested without Spire assistance or stockpiling samples. So you don't need to be constantly farming the Spire sites anymore for the samples. The biggest thing here is they've changed the difficulty of the systems and they put it into kind of a linear set. And so what that means is simply the closer you get to the Titan, the difficulty is going to be linear. So it'll be consistent, essentially, is what they're saying. All system scores have been rebalanced using these new war contribution calculations, because these combat bonds matter. A lot of this is money driven, so these numbers go into accounting for the progress that we're making in the war. Continuing on, talking specifically about Spire sites. Spires are highly valuable tools, can be used against the Thargoids. They're actually really cool too. If you've never done a Spire site, get out there, especially with friends. If you can bring some people along, the missions for the Spire sites and just going out there and shooting the different the ground units is a lot of fun. Each war effort within a Spire site has an effect on the 10 systems furthest away from the associated Titan, and it's called a spread pushback. So some significant changes. So spread pushback targeting is now dynamic. And their example they give is if any of the furthest 10 systems hit 100%, the Titan will start to affect the 11th system and the 12th, and so on, without waiting for the Thursday tick. So that's a big deal. So you can see in real time the changes to the effects given with these systems. They've reworked the capping system, which I really like this capping system change. They don't have a hard cap of 85% anymore, and so basically once the system has reached that point, it can start affecting other systems as far as being able to retake them. So that's a really good mix. Some other stuff in there about that. All contributions within a Spire system have been retuned. It looks like they've kind of retuned everything. I don't think any of the numbers have been left alone when it comes to the Spire sites and a lot of the outcomes, the bonuses, the payment that you get for participating. Activity after a Spire system has hit 100% will not result in additional spread pushback. Spread pushback no longer applies to the Spire system itself. That's cool. And Spire systems no longer regenerate on a weekly tick. Okay. So, and then Counterstrike systems. This was a cool one. And I wonder, before we talk about this one, I wonder if this is what happened with, was it Oya? I think it was Oya, where they had done a calculation and predicted that Oya was going to fall within a certain number of days, and then it didn't because some of these systems reappeared as alert status. And so it set the activity back about a week or so. And I'm wondering if this is a result of that particular incident. Counterstrike systems offer a variety of gameplay options to fight the Thargoids, to better synergize with Spire mechanics. Improvements on the Counterstrike marketing rules have been made. Counterstrike systems marking has been partially reworked. The 10 furthest controlled systems from a Titan are now marked as Counterstrike, regardless of the direction. Okay. The furthest Spire system from a Titan is now marked as a Counterstrike. So it doesn't matter how far it is away. Additionally, anti-Xeno combat zones now spawn in all Thargoid-controlled systems. Oh, so if you want to go, and it doesn't matter what level of control or pushback there is, you'll get AXI combat zones. These changes only apply to the Titan with the fewest controlled systems. Oh, okay. So, in the event two Titans have the same number of controlled systems, both will follow this new rule set. Choose wisely, commanders. So yeah, this is definitely a reaction to that surprise alert status that we got on Oya, which is good. And it takes away a lot of the guesswork and it makes it more linear. You know that if you've got 10 systems left, you've got X amount of work to do, and you don't have to wonder if this one star system that maybe has a few extra Goids in it is going to be a big issue when it comes to bringing down the Titan defenses. And then Titan defenses got a change as well. Titan vulnerability operated on a curve. The less systems the Titan controlled, the more damage that it would take from players hitting the core. We know that. That's been the thing that we've worked with. Titan vulnerability has been worked to a two-phase system. It will now always be clear when a Titan has been made vulnerable, therefore ready for a final assault. Titan vulnerability is now two-tiery. At three controlled systems or below, a Titan will be vulnerable to attack, period. And that's what we're seeing. Well, I don't know. I feel like that's what we're seeing with Haddad. I think it has three systems it's controlled. It's taking damage, but it's probably not taking as much damage as it could if it had no systems. At 4 or above controlled systems, the Titan will take almost no damage from attacks. So one system is going to be the difference between vulnerable and invulnerable Titans. They've reworked the galaxy map and inbox messages to deal with that, but they haven't changed. So I like this last one. The rules for obtaining Titan rewards are unchanged. Yeah, they haven't followed those rules at all, because every time we've tried to take down a Titan, something has happened, and it's generally unfair because not everybody's been able to go in and deal with a solid instance to be able to attack the Titan, earn the appropriate amount of credits. So I'm wondering if Haddad might be the first. I don't know. Well, Haddad will probably be gone before this goes in. So whatever Titan is next will probably be the first time that we'll see this implemented. That's assuming that everything goes according to plan with Hadad, which is, by the way, on its last leg here in probably a day or so. We'll be seeing that thing go up. So just real quick, bunch of different things, mostly rebalances. And I like these kind of balances. They're not necessarily taking the challenge out of it. They're just dialing it down just a little bit. You want more people involved. We want more people to, pick up a gun and fight and be part of this. It's cool to have these specialized functions in Elite. Your AXI pilots, your piracy, explorers, everybody has their own kind of specialized niche that they work on. Some of these are really cool, like AXI and like combat, but it can be really difficult for people to get into. And so there's been so many requirements for engineering and materials gathering, and it's got to be done in a very specific sequence, and you have to pray to God that you get the right material in the right star system out of thousands of star systems, and it just takes forever, and it's a real detriment to the overall health of activity in the game. So this kind of stuff makes it a little clearer for people to be able to see what they're fighting, what they're doing, and how it makes a difference in their day-to-day gameplay. So I like these changes. The only thing I can see, and I'll go back here real quick and just show you real quick, the only thing I am skittish on is the nerf for the Orthrus. I understand why they did it. I'm just not sure it was really necessary to go that low, but I mean, that's kind of what they went with, but that's about it. The nerf for the Orthrus seems to be the only real thing that they totally chopped up. Everything else is just kind of dialed down a little bit more, or it's made a little bit clearer in terms of why a certain system has a certain alert status and what you can expect from that status going forward. Hey everybody, thanks for hanging out. These are the Disciples. If you like what I do on this channel, patreon.com/CommanderExorcist. Love to have you aboard. Quick and easy today, just a real quick brief on the new patch. It is coming out next Tuesday, May the 28th. They say the server will be down for an hour or so. I don't believe it. Never play on patch day. Expect the worst and hope for the best, but we never know. But we'll see what happens. Hey everybody, thanks for hanging out. I'm Commander Exorcist. Take care, fly safe, and I will see you out there. Good night.